Joining us to talk on this issue of consistent grid collapse, we have Peter Ameh, a public affairs analyst. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on Galaxy TV News.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
All right, so getting right to the questions, the national grid once again has collapsed, and this has been happening so many times. What's your thoughts on this?
My own thought is that since the privatization and with government owning just very small amount of investment in the distribution company, since the privatization of this distribution company since 2011, I have not seen the owners, or those investors, as people who are competent enough to inject more resources in the development of substations that would have helped in the strengthening of the capacity of this substation to absorb whatever injection of power that will come from the national grid. It is this lack of capacity of these substations that are actually leading to the collapse of the national grid when more power and energy is injected into it. And you find out that I think that what had happened in the bank, where banks were consolidated, you must look at how to further strengthening the consolidation of the distribution companies, because government cannot continue to invest money in buying meter, money that would have been used to do other things like develop education and other sector of the economy. Government cannot continue to invest like $800 million that was received to be able to invest in the substation upgrade. Is not something that government should be so much involved in. If we are privatizing, we should go full mood and then extend it. I must also give some credit to Buhari for the 2023 Electricity Tariff Act that will now help state to also generate power. What Enugu State have done is to also launch theirs. So state must also wake up and do what has happened in Abia with their geometrics, when they now build their own independent power plant. So we can be able to expand the number of people who can be able to generate power and then consume it locally without even channeling it to where it will collapse the substation and collapse the national grid. The idea of national grid in every part of the world is no longer tenable. It is you generate power in within those subcommittees or sub-national units where you can be able to manage it and grow the economy and grow the medium, because without power, the small and medium scale enterprises in this country are all dying. Without power, the society will not be able to live to the full potential of this technological advancement. So it is necessary that government must take cognizance into these facts and take proactive measures. Proactive measures with the discos. What is the amount of money the discos are generating? What is the tax they are paying to federal government? Why is the disco owners getting richer and they are not adding value to the infrastructure that government handed over to them as of the time they collected the infrastructure? They must be able to add value. They can't just be like people who feed on an existing structure without expanding it. The major problem is that those who bought this disco, those whose disco was concession to by federal government, did not have the technical know-how, did not have the kind of capacity needed to expand the electricity sector in order to benefit all Nigerians. And that's what we are saying. If we must continue to do things with the mind of the masses at heart, we must do things transparently. We must look at the capacity of the company to be able to improve on whatever that was handed over to them. We must look at the capacity of the company to develop this infrastructure needed to absorb whatever injection of power that will come from the national grid.
Okay, all right. So the Minister of Power said that recently the equipment used for the grid are obsolete, and this may have informed the frequent collapse of the grid. Do you think that explanation is valid enough for Nigerians?
It is embarrassing that there are no punitive measures by the minister, to be able to deal with the issues that are on ground. If we did privatization of the electricity sector by 2011, and by now the people who are owners of these distribution companies or the investors who are within the electricity distribution generation unit are not putting proper infrastructure in place, and not put the proper investment into the development of this infrastructure to help Nigeria to grow, to help Nigeria economics to flourish, to help Nigeria towards building a better and developmental objectives that will cater for the welfare of our people, then there should be a proper open inquiry, either by the National Assembly, where we will look at how obsolete this equipment have become since 2011. You can count the years. This is 2024. In within a period of these 13 years, what are the investments that these companies have put to expand and strengthen the infrastructure that we handed over to them in the power sector? So these are proper investigation. What is the amount of money this company have generated? What is the amount of the taxes they have paid to federal government? So we cannot conclude this feeding bottle. While the private investors are cashing out, government is borrowing $800 million. Government is carrying money from coffers that would have used to, expand the economic welfare of the people, and then putting it into this same investment. Government has said several times, oh, people should not buy meter. Well, people are still buying meter. Government has said that this equipment are obsolete. What are the decisions? We should stop being reactive to issues. If the minister already know this, if the minister, must be proactive, because this the frequent collapse of the national grid is causing us international embarrassment. It's causing us both local and international embarrassment, and it's driving down the investors' confidence in our economy. If you look at statistics of companies that have moved out of Nigeria, majority have moved out because of security and power. So we must, as a serious people, sit down and have a national policy or a well-crafted decision that will help to solve the obsolete natures of these substations, or we will channel resources, or we bring a consolidated effort and do what was happening in the bank and reconsolidate the discourse so that we will have more money injected into it, well, then we have more opportunity to be able to refurbish or buy new substation up to the standard that can up to whatever 20,000, 30,000 megawatts that will be generated by the national grid.
All right, we thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on Galaxy TV News. We truly appreciate your presence.
Thank you very much.
All right, and that's Peter, a public affairs analyst.